Hi there, I'm Becky from Cutie Pie Crochet Creations, and today is a beautiful day to go market shopping. Yes, here in northern Colorado, there are 5 different markets that I'm going to look at today, and I'm going to market shop, not shop at markets, although I might do a little bit of that. But I'm really looking to see if next year, if I sign up for a market for my crochet stuff, what would be the best market for me? I'm looking at foot traffic, how much the vendor fee is it worth my time? Does it have a bunch of other crocheters already going to that one, or they don't have any? And what's best for me? I will also break it down, because maybe something that's not so great for me might be the perfect market for you. But what is best? Farmers markets, pop-up shops, or craft fairs? We'll find out. Happen to have in my nearby area 5 or 6 markets going on just this week, and I'm kind of going through market withdrawal. I haven't done one since April really, and I'm missing it, and I don't have one until the fall. And right now I'm just building up inventory because I need a lot of inventory for my fall market. But I think next year during the summer I might want to do one of these markets. So I'm doing research today. I am investigating. I'm looking at these 6 markets and saying which one might be worth my time, my money, and all my effort. So I'm going to go to each one. I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about each one. I might not videotape much at the market because that kind of, like, I'm really socially anxious about that, about people seeing me on video. Even in my car right now, I'm like, is anyone seeing me? Is anyone like watching what I'm doing? And I'm videotaping myself in the car. Yeah. So, but I'll tell you about each one. I'll tell you afterwards my reaction to it. Things I'm looking for is foot traffic. I'll tell you the vendor fee that it has for it. Its demographic, because really my demographic might be different than other people's demographic. So it might be good for some people selling crochet stuff, and it might not be so good for other people selling crochet stuff. So I'll tell you about the demographic, and then whether I think that'll be a good market to possibly look into for next year or not. So what else? Oh, and are there other crocheters? What do their booth displays look like? What did I like? What I was like, yeah, maybe I'm not gonna follow that. And yeah, so I'll let you know how it goes. So first market we're at right now, it's the farmers market right in my town, and it had a pretty hefty vendor fee for each time. Plus they expect you to give them 10% of each of like all your sales. And so I'm like, plus sales tax? So I'm not sure I'll go for this one. Also, I'm already not seeing my demographic too much, but I'll tell you how it goes. Okay, thoughts on the first one, the first farmers market. I was actually surprised the demographic was a little more balanced. Multi-generational, not many kids though, although it is super early in the morning. Like, I think this is one where families would go, but definitely right now it seemed more geared towards food, like specialty foods, cool food trucks. They had honey and jam and sticky things and chocolate, where I noticed there wasn't as much traffic by any of the artists. There was no crochet artist there. I did like how some people tiered their displays. So, I mean, it was very eye-catching and pleasing. So I'm definitely gonna keep those in mind. But probably, especially for the price, and that you have to give a 10% of your sales to the overall market, I probably will not do this one. But I think it definitely gets a good amount of foot traffic. If your demographic is more adult, those who really appreciate specialty foods, and then is doing that, this would probably be a great market for you. Probably not the best for me. this one because literally it's no one. There's crickets. Only vendors are talking to vendors right now. And it did start, but it is super early in the day. There aren't any shops open, so they're making them set up really early and no one's here. There's no traffic. There's only cars for these people. And so I feel really bad. I don't see any crocheters, but I'm not even gonna get out of my car. Number 2 was a pop-up shop here in a shopping mall area. And yeah, it was crickets. There wasn't anyone there. It was only the vendors talking to other vendors, and I didn't even feel comfortable getting out of my car. Now, not any of the shops are open yet, so maybe this isn't the best time to come. If I have time at the end, I might stop by again and see if it's going better. There weren't any other crochet booths. There might have been crochet like wearables and bags, and that's not what I sell, but because I do plushies. So there would still be no competition really there, but I don't know. It just looked really sad. And granted, this one only had a vendor fee of $10 because this might be the first week that they're doing this. And they're really just trying something new this year. They've never done this before. And they're just trying to get, I think, more people into their store because they sell a lot of like local artisan stuff in their store. And so the ones that are hosting it, but not a good turnout. Kind of a pretty cool location. Maybe later today when a lot of people are shopping, it might be a better sell. And it was right next to a Build-A-Bear, so that could also be good for me because that's kind of more my demographic, kids or people who are young at heart. We'll see. Stop number 3, it is the Larimer County Farmers Market. I'm excited about this one. This one looks great. Awesome foot traffic already. And it's only been open for a little bit, but it is hopping with lots of people. And then there's a craft fair that just within blocks of this one. So it's like they're going to piggyback off of that farmer's market, which is really smart. So I'm going to go check this one out, but I'll just show you what I can see from my car. I got a really good parking spot here. It's right here, but there are already a ton of people here walking around. Definitely has its own vibe. Fort Collins tends to really appreciate handmade stuff, so this is good. See you soon. Wow, the Larimer County Farmers Market is the place to be. It's packed. It has so many people there of all different ages. So, I mean, there's young, there's old, there's families, there's young adults, and there's definitely by far, I mean, granted, we are really close to like the college university area. There are a ton of young adults, which is my demographic. And so this would definitely be a good market. And I talked to one of the guys, shout out to Dad's Wooden Spoon. Let me show you what I got from him. I went through the whole thing because I was like, I'm gonna eat something. So Dad's Wooden Spoon. And he had the best names for his cookies. And he had one called the Dark Vader. And of course I had to get that as a Star Wars fan. And he told me it was like a brownie. And I'm like, sold. Chocolate upon chocolate. And it's soft. Absolutely. And it's so good. So it ticked all the boxes for me. Large foot traffic. Like people were waiting in lines mostly to get food. There was food. There's crafts. There were no crochet plushie artists there. There was a couple, there was one, maybe two that were selling just a few crochet bags, and I don't make bags. So this could be a great one for me next year if no one else is selling crochet plushies. It's $60 for the whole entire summer. Now, I don't know how they'd feel about me not being able to do a lot of them because that's a huge time commitment as a mother with fairly younger children. I don't want to be tied up every single Saturday, but wow, that would definitely be worth it. So the next two I'm going to go to are over $150. Like I think the next one I'm going to is $150 vendor fee for just one day. The other one, it's brand new to this season. It's based out of California, I think, and it's been in Nevada. I've seen other people at these markets, and it's just starting up here, but it's also a little more expensive, and you have to have certain things at the market to kind of have a cohesive thing that I don't have. So that would be an extra money investment, but we'll see how those go. Okay, bye. Next stop is Denver Makers Markets. They are open from 10 to 3 today. And they're also in Old Town Fort Collins. And so this seems to be a really good area. It looks like there's already a good vibe, even though they haven't opened yet. I pre-registered as a shopper, so I'm gonna hopefully one of those. They have like 50 bags with like discounts and coupons for the first 50 registered ticket people. So, and it didn't cost anything for the ticket. You just had to say, yes, I'm going. So I'm gonna hopefully get that. Hopefully. I don't see a line yet, but this should be a good one. It's got a good vibe. So stop number 4. Great location. Looks like they have a good setup. I think it'll bring in a lot of people. But there was maybe 40 vendors, and at least 6 of them were crochet people, and they were all selling the same things. And I was like, ugh, that's a lot of competition for a small amount of vendors. Like, they were a high percentage. It's like, there's another one, and granted, there are a lot of crochet artists out there right now, and it is trying not to compete, trying to work together, but that's still a lot of people, especially when you're paying that hefty of a vendor fee. It's $150 for one day to compete with a bunch of other people in a small amount of offerings. So probably not going to do this one, although I really hope they do well today and they're successful. I think they'll have a good turnout. Okay, here we are, 5th market of the day, and this one is Maker's Hive Market, and I don't know, it's really hidden away in the middle of a mall. Took me a long time even just to find it, and honestly, I don't know how great it's gonna be. Granted, I am a half an hour early, so there's no foot traffic yet. It's just people keep finishing setting up. The mall, I hope, is open because I have to go to the bathroom. And yeah, I don't know. I don't like the venue because it was impossible to find, and I knew it was here, so that's not looking good for it. But we'll see. So, review of Maker's Hive Market in Fort Collins. Pretty dead. And it's just starting off, but I mean, their location does not help them. It's really pretty where they're at, but it's so hidden. There's no signage saying, hey, they're here. It was hard to even find them because they're like tucked inside of an area. So that was not helping them. I think it'd be the right demographic. It really has a cool vibe, but the foot traffic is not so great. And I don't think that the fact that the mall looks empty like an old ghost town helps. So that's my review of that one. Not worth the price, I think, for the signage or the location. Market recap time. I went to 5 markets today. Check them out and I gave them each a score based on their location, their foot traffic, their demographic, and whether or not there were other people selling the same things as me, that it would kind of have to, like, you know, divide them out that each of us were able to sell in general. And then also talked about the price. Was it worth the price that they were asking for as a vendor booth? So for the first market, that was the local farmers market. It had a good location. I would give that a 4 out of 5. The foot traffic was pretty good, so I would give that a 3 out of 5. I didn't see a ton of people really going to the craft or the artisan booth, so I kind of gave that a lower score. And then the demographic, I didn't see a lot of people who are really interested in handmade items, but there was still a lot of people kind of in my demographic there. Well, a bit. So I gave that a 3 out of 5. And there were no other crochet plushie vendors. So I gave that a 5 out of 5. So total, that would be a 15 out of 20. And as far as price goes, the price for the booth, it's a $50 application fee. That's just application fee. I'm assuming that's for the whole thing, because the other one at Larimer County Farmer Market was similar. But every single time, they would also take out 5% of your gross sales. You had to pay them for each one. And for me, sometimes I sell a lot. And to take and give 5% of that, I mean, that could really add up to a lot. Granted, I'm getting a lot, but still, it's not something I really want to do. And plus, you'd have to have an insurance policy. So really, I would rate this about $4, which means like 4 out of $5. $5 would be like a really expensive market. And so if it's $4, it's not worth my time. If my other score added up to 15 out of 20, no. So ultimately it's a no for me. Market 2. Market 2 is the one that only had a $10 booth fee, which is insane. I mean, I could get that probably on 1 or 2 sales easily. So the price is right, especially for a place where you may or may not get a whole lot of sales. I mean, the location was okay. I mean, it was in the middle of a mall, and that mall was out in the open, so people could drive by and easily see the spot. However, the traffic, there was nothing. There was no foot traffic, so I gave that a 1 out of 5. Demographic, how can you say your demographic is there when there's no one there? I gave it a generous 2, because it was in a location where people might bring their kids, next to some shops that were like kid friendly. And then there was no other crochet plushies, so that would be a 5 out of 5. So all in all, that one got a score of 11 out of 20. But with the booth fee only being $10, that's doable. So I would maybe consider something like that if it was the same price in the future. But would I want to spend that many hours and no one shows up? You'd have to change the hours on it in the future. Market 3. Market 3 was the farmer's market up in Fort Collins, and that one was awesome. That got really high scores for me. I gave it a 5 out of 5 for location. I mean, people could see it from all over. It's right in the middle of Old Town District. Very popular place. A lot of people around. Great foot traffic. I gave it a 5 out of 5 for foot traffic. I gave it a 4 out of 5 for demographic, because there really wasn't any other crochet plushies vendors, which was a 5 out of 5 for that one too. But the demographic, I don't know if they would appreciate it as much, because there was a little more older to like 30-year-olds and up. And usually my demographic is more like preteen to mid-20s. But I don't know, like it could be good. So I only took off 1 point for that one. And the amount would be $60 for the whole season. They didn't say anything about a penalty fee. So, but you also have to get insurance, so that does kind of bring up the price, but it was worth it. Like, that place had so many people there, and without any other competition doing the same thing as me, that would be an awesome place to market in the future. Market number 4, that was a 19 out of 20. Market number 4, that was the Denver Makers Market, also in like downtown Fort Collins area. And the location was awesome. It was great, easily accessible, a lot of people around. So I gave, the location was 5 out of 5. Foot traffic, felt like it could have been more, but it was pretty good, and it was in a great location, so I think there'd be more later. So I rated that a 4 out of 5. Sorry, there's dogs going crazy. Demographic is 4 out of 5. Definitely saw some kids there, some teenagers, but I gave it a 0 out of 5 for the amount of crochet plushies artists that were there. There's just an insane amount. It's way too much percentage of all the vendors that I would like. And so, but the price, I think the price, if they had limited amount of crochet plushie vendors, I would say the price is right. I think they really worked really hard to have signage, to really make sure people knew they were there. So I'd say, even though it was more of an expensive price, they do a lot with what they had there. And they gave out goodie bags to try to bring people in. So I would maybe consider that one if I knew they were actually limiting the amount of a certain kind of vendor. Market 5. Market 5 was a horrible location. I was really nice and gave it a 2, but it was the worst for sure today. Foot traffic was also not so great. It was slightly above Market 2, and Market 2 didn't have anybody, so that's not saying much. So I gave that a 2 out of 5 as well. Demographic was my demographic, so I gave that a 4 out of 5. But there were 3 other crochet plushie people there. At least 3. There might have been 4. And so I gave that a 1 out of 5. It wasn't as bad as the previous market, but it was still not ideal as a range. So for that one, I forgot to add up my scores for the last 2. So for market 4, it was 5 plus 4 plus 4, and there's 0. So that is, oh my gosh, I'm doing math. It's 13 out of 20. And I said possibly it would be a yes if they limited the amount of crochet vendors. Market 5 was a 2 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1. So that would be a 9. Yikes, a 9 out of 20. So that's a definite no. It's not worth the price. Oh, by the way, so just a reminder again, Market 4 was $150 vendor fee, and it's for 1 day. Market 5, for 1 day, if you wanted a really small area, 6 by 4, it was $100. If you wanted a 10 by 10, it was $150 just for 1 day. If you wanted to do 2 days, it was $175 for a really small space and $275 for the large space. Plus, you also had to have requirements of how you displayed your stuff. You only could have a white tent or a white cream or tan umbrella if you had a small space. Your tablecloths had to be white, cream, or tan, and mine are black. And I have a blue tent, so I have to get all new things just for this market. No, not happening. So that one's not worth the price and the cost that I would have to invest in it. Maybe if they had the location of Old Town Square, like Market 4 did, I would consider it, but not where they were at that point. So, all in all, I would say, it's weird to say that market 2, actually, I would say yes to, just because it's like, hey, why not? It's $10, who cares? I'll make that, I'm pretty sure, and make that back. But how much more would I make for all those hours I'd be there? But market 3, it would be a yes. So the farmer's market. So who knew? The farmer's markets and the pop-up shop had the higher scores today. Although one of the makers markets had a higher score as well. But my lower scores were also the pop-up shop and the makers market. So who knows? Hopefully this information helped you out a little bit today. Maybe it did, maybe it did. It helped me. And I'm hoping me sharing this with you. What are markets like in your area? Are the farmers markets tend to be something that are more successful for you, or pop-up shops, or makers markets? Let me know in the comments below. Bye. Next stop is Denver's Makers Markets. Denver's Makers Markets.